Welcome to my new vlog. It's actually a vlog if there's a video involved, right? So this is my vlog, and I'm going to be showing you BTS and pretty much just doing the things that I do on a regular basis and sharing some behind the scenes. And in the meantime, I can also answer some questions. Like there's some questions on some other videos that I asked. I always answer questions. I don't know if you guys know this, but I answer questions directly to the person. And, because I don't answer them publicly, a lot of people don't get the same information. So we got to do better about that. Let's use this laptop up here. Welcome, welcome. The chat box is also open. So if you guys want to chat, you have questions, feel free to use that. But usually before I start, I do like a meditation to get myself centered, get calm, all those good things, get grounded. And I do have my singing bowl over there. So I'm going to get my singing bowl. We'll just do like a quick breathing meditation because everybody just works better that way. Everything just falling apart. Welcome to my studio. My studio. So I did this. Me and Shalom worked on this studio ourselves. It used to be just a really plain sunroom. And so we got some mass loaded vinyl to kind of like change the sound, have better acoustics in here. And then we had to had to put holes. I would show you, but it's really heavy to pull back. But we had to put holes in the mass loaded vinyl. So think of this thick ass, like thick black leathery stuff. And we put, hold on. I'm trying to get this in position. There we go. And so we had to hammer grommets into the vinyl and then pick it up, which is really heavy, and then hang it. And it was like midsummer, y'all, like what, June, July. So we were in here sweating our asses off getting the studio together. But it's worth it. It's together now. And I'm definitely making use of it. You see, I got my mic. I got my mic over here. I got, you can't see this, but I got my little recording booth things like right here. I got my recording booth thing. So we have everything we need. Everything. So let's turn this music down. Okay. So let's get ourselves set up. I think I'm just going to end up doing it sideways because of this. I'll make it work. So get comfortable, sitting up, laying down. If you're walking around, get comfortable in your body as you walk. And that way you can enjoy the meditation. A lot of times people focus so much on the structure or the steps of meditation. They don't really realize comfort's so important. If you're uncomfortable, you're distracted, thinking about why you're uncomfortable. So we don't want to be uncomfortable. All right, so let's take a few releasing breaths. Releasing breath is keeping your mouth open, your jaws loose. Letting a sigh out. Your brain already recognizes that sigh as relaxation, less chill. So use that signal, use that information that's already in your system to speak to your body and say, let's relax. So, okay. So if this sounds terrible in the mic, you're gonna have to let me know because I can't hear it. But I think that should be good. And pull it back a little bit so that we're not just blasting in your ears. So this intention, this meditation, let's just set it on being present and just observing your breath. All right. Observing your breath as it naturally flows, gentle, nothing forced. Observing where your breath goes in your body, observing the change in your body as you exhale. Just putting 100% of your attention on your breath and what's going on with See, don't you feel a lot more peaceful? I do. So that's how I like to start all my meetings, sessions, how I start performances, how I start art, and how you start your day. Really, it's a good way to ground and get out of whatever busy mindset you had in place. So this weekend, I had my very first solo weekend in this house. And you guys know I went to Ghana in December, last December. Came back, and then the quarantine happened, all these things happened. And I was like, let me just go back, you know? But they closed the gates, and now they're open. Let me make this a little higher. There we go. And so now we're able to go to Ghana, and I'm going to do it. But before then, I'm putting myself through this challenge, this 30-day challenge to just get my Jesus year routine in place. And so this is my Jesus year, you guys. I'm going to be 33 this year. And I know I look 12. I know. Yeah, I look 12. But I'm going to be 33, and I'm really excited about this birthday because it's a special number to me. And um, I feel just this innate greatness that's blossoming. And I'm excited for it. Why wouldn't you be excited if you felt that way? So yes, I'm excited about my birthday and just this year. So using the 2 months we have left over, um, using that as motivation to catalyze my goals and my growth goals. And part of that is definitely being more comfortable talking to the camera, being more consistent with it, and sharing more of my experience, my experience of life, because that's really where the juice is relating to each other through how we experience life. Like it's so genuine, and it also lets us know that we're not alone in the way that we feel, that it's actually quite natural. Most of the things you feel are quite natural. And if they're not natural, then the way, that imbalance that you naturally feel or that you feel is your intuition telling you that, something about this shit is not natural to me and it needs to change. So even in those times, using your intuition to be your guide. And for me, talking on the camera is um, vulnerable, you know? It's a little bit scary because it's like permanent things that you're saying are going to be put out on the internet. And that's also why I'm doing a live stream, because I'm not going to go back and edit this. This is as it is. And that's going to help me to release those mental blocks and fears around just speaking to the camera. Because when I have a lot of amazing conversations, y'all, like, and that's a big reason why I haven't been um, so active on the airwaves is I just be going to bed sometimes just full. My spirit is full. I've learned a lot. And what's missing from that for me is to pass it on. I've been learning a lot, so I want to pass it on in ways that are accessible and um, usable, And even as a nurse, like it's always been my job to make things understandable and make them very plain. Because a lot of times, especially in the medical field, you have verbiage that you as a professional know because that's the words that you use at work. But then you're talking to somebody who doesn't have that job, has a different job, doesn't use those kind of words, then you have to find words that we all do use, we all do understand and connect to explain that information. And that's always been something that's been on my heart to do when I was a nurse is, if I have to talk to a kid, if I have to talk to an elderly lady or somebody that um, is not just, a peer of mine, like I want to be able to connect with them and really respect them at the same time. And yeah, it's something that has value to me and has value because it makes whatever I have to share, whatever information I can pass on to be that much more effective because I'm not doing it in encrypted language. So I see there's people in here and I don't have any comments, and I just need you to like liven it up for me. So like say hi. If you don't, it's fine. I'm still talk. So this is my first weekend alone in the house, and I was alone, meaning moved into this new place during quarantine, and also in a relationship that was not new, but it was new for us to live together, like permanently. So all that, y'all, like together, and I've been connecting with people that I know, just phone calls and all those things, but connecting and seeing that there's the same story going around. There's a very similar story. And this story is the quarantine quits, y'all. The quarantine, if you think about what's really happening during quarantine, is everything is condensed into this box of of relationship. So whatever you had going on, where you took breaks going to work, you took breaks socially, you did different things that really broke up the events that make you grow, and it broke up the chances, the times, instances that you can experience conflict or experience celebration. So everything's just condensed, right? And it's that pressure that I talk about, that tension in your body, emotional tension. Just think about when you're frustrated. Frustration could be anger, it could be disappointment, it could be all those emotions, but it builds tension, right? Makes you feel tight. And the more it intensifies, it can make you feel like you're going to explode, just pop off. And so think about in these quarantine boxes that we're in, um, if don't have the space for our own emotions, then they seep out. They sometimes guys are out, they shoot out, they project. And so you have this tiny space of people projecting their energies on each other. And then now you're going to add in work. Now the stress from work that usually is isolated in its own box, its own building, is now inside the house. So you got the work stress box, you have the relationship one, and then you have kids. Some people have kids, so you have that um, parenthood and um, all that, taking care of the house, all in the same box. So it's a lot to manage. It's a lot to experience at the same time, without getting our typical breaks from it. And we didn't realize that, a lot of people don't realize that, but your breaks are usually going to work. It's breaking from your environment, breaking from your personal life, right? And then when you go home, it's breaking from your work life. So they're separated kind of automatically based on, the fact that we're working um, out of home and for someone else. So for someone like me, I've been working by myself since like 2015. Um, Even as a nurse, when I did that beforehand, I was always like an independent contractor. So I worked for different surgical suites, right? Different doctors, different home care agencies. So I was never the type of person to be a committed employee to one place for a long time. And I'm an amazing employee, y'all. Like I can talk my way into any job because I know how good I am. I know that I'm an asset. I know that I'll go in and do the job that you want me to do even better than you expected. And so when you have to reflect that and turn that onto yourself and do that kind of work for yourself, without there being anybody to say good job or you get a raise for this hard work, or people, competing for the same position, that pushes you, challenges you a little bit more. So it's really easy to get comfortable working for yourself. And it's also easy to get comfortable working from home, right? And I think we've all noticed the distraction, the need for structure, need for spaces. This fan just started going by itself. And yeah, so the three things that I would say that really help with working at home, especially during quarantine, is space. Separate your space. If you can, have a separate space. And some people have small spaces where maybe separation means going outside. It means going, finding a place where there's nobody else is at. And we're doing that a lot more now. People are finding places to work that are outside where, they're still separated from other people. So you can make it work. Separate time. So if you think about work, you usually are spending 8 hours a day plus, because you think about the commute, then the whole getting ready thing and all that. So all that time now is different. It's used differently. And you have to think about separating space and time, um, just as part of your natural routine, so that you have that healthy tension, that healthy, you know, curiosity. Like, what happened during your day? Because I didn't sit here and watch the whole damn thing, so I really don't know what happened during your day. Um, but yeah, like if I'm with you all day, we're doing everything together, then it does lower natural curiosity because you're in the routine with the person, right? So separating routines, separating your hobbies. If there's something that you've been wanting to do, and usually you do things with your partner, or usually, you'll wait to get some kind of, outside motivation. Do that as your separation of time and space. Something on your own that's just for yourself, what you enjoy. And that's really going to be helpful. If we don't do these kinds of things and put these things in place, y'all, quarantine's going to destroy a lot of relationships. So I think of it as concentrated relationship. Like if you're going to dose relationships, you're getting a concentrated dose right now, or you're deficient in your dosage, right? Because you're not in a relationship, quarantine by yourself, or quarantine with people that you don't really relate to on an intimate way, whether that's friends or, sexually. But you can be alone, and be in a room full of people. You can be alone, or you can be very full and whole and be by yourself. And that's what I did today. And that was one of the other things I wanted to share with you, was like just being here and being alone, hearing all the little noises and getting a little creeped out, really just like reset me. And I was like, oh wow, like I'm actually alone. For like the first hour, I could still feel somebody here. And that's just natural. That's nature, y'all. Like when you're with somebody, it's my bead. When you're with somebody, whether it's kids, even coworkers. It's called entrainment, and you can take on kind of like get wrapped up in their orbit, and you start to entrain with each other's vibration. And so you start to share thoughts, you start to finish each other's sentences, you start to be able to just feel them more, sense when something's off. Like, what's wrong? Nothing. Before, you might have been like, oh, maybe they're this, maybe they're that. But when you become entrained and a part of each other energetically, you know when they're lying. You know something's wrong. And that's a really big difference that I've noticed, is having that openness to receive feedback, energetic feedback. And it takes a minute to get there. I feel like most of us spend um, a huge amount of our time in relationships trying to get comfortable, or trying to really relax into it and not fight it, you know, fighting the things we don't know, because there's a lot you don't know. And you guys surrender to the fact that you don't know, so that you can start to know, right? At the end of the day, all we want to do is experience life and know more about it, how it feels, um, the potential of life, the magic of life. Like, we have a certain curiosity for that. Well, I do. So there's not a lot of things going on in here, y'all. Um, I'm gonna be happy to look back at this episode and be like, it has grown. Like, I've grown, I've changed, and you have to start somewhere. And for so long, I have like a long list of excuses of, why I don't do this. And um, I can definitely tell you, I'm not money motivated very much. I do like nice things and I like to have it. Um, but I have learned to live very great, for a lot less. So I don't need it in excess, I would say. I don't think in that way. So for me, it's like, I gotta want to do something from the heart, and I got to know why I'm doing it. And really, that's where the heart part is. Like, where's my heart in this? And what's my intention? How does it fulfill me? Like, how does it make me feel whole? And those are things that I think about, versus things like money or success or more sales, whatever it is, popularity. I mean, yeah, I really just, sometimes I'm like, can I just like share things through osmosis and not have to even say it? But no, you have to say things. I have, I made a video yesterday. I didn't make it yesterday. I actually just posted it, but it was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it was to show you how I do my breast massage and armpit massage. So one of the guys asked if, or how breast massage pertains to men. And men have breast, y'all. You got breast, you got nipples. And really, because we think of men's breast as not being something, an erogenous zone like their nipples, like a woman's are, or we don't sexualize men's breast like we sexualize women's breast. So then you also forget that, they're sexy and they can feel that way. And so the same stimulation of the nipples, the areola, the full breast massage, it's going to be beneficial for men. You're also going to produce oxytocin, just like a woman would, which is the bonding hormone, right? It helps us bond, create relationships with things. And I say with things because it's not always just the right things. You can bond with things like porn. You can bond with food. Hell, you can bond with chocolate. So that's also part of our hormonal imbalance. When we're talking about dopamine and things like that, is we're just imbalanced with our bonds. We have relationships with things that are not really giving back to us, like food. There's healthy relationships with food, and then there's ones that are you're trying to cope with something else. But yeah, the other part that tends to be a favorite for male bodies is pushing down on the chest. And think about, when I think about, I have a lot on my chest, and how to decompress that, or how to energetically get that weight off your chest. And really, like, touch does it. Touch really does it for me. And it does it for most of us. They did a study where they didn't do a study. Their findings. I don't really know, but it was a journal I read, so I can't give you the full details. I can't remember them. It was a legit journal where they're explaining how babies who were not touched um, passed away. And I think this actually was something that happened on an accident. These babies ended up being not touched, not held, and they died. And babies that were held and touched, obviously, were good. So it showed a direct connection to our sense of touch and our sense of existence. So when people say, my language of love is this and that, for me, everybody's language of love as a baseline human is touch as well. Everything else can change. Um, but I feel like touch is always going to be something that we need. You know? And even naturally, like when you're hurt, when you're um, just in even in emotional pain, you touch yourself. You do things like this, rub your knees, you put your hand on whatever's hurting. So that automatically tells you that touch is a healing instinct that we have. So go run with that. That's already in your system. So that's why I say work with what's already there. You don't have to create these huge milestone habits, to get to where you want to go. It's really work with what's already there, work with what naturally gravitates and interests you, and yeah, be gentle on yourself. But there's like a balance, right? Because you're like, be gentle, and then you find yourself being very complacent or comfortable, lazy, all those things. Um, so there's a balance between being gentle, which is, I think being gentle is knowing not to beat yourself down. And you can build yourself up without beating yourself down. Think about the way you would talk to your best friend, the way you would talk to someone that you love, and they're in a hard spot where they don't feel good about themselves, which means they're not producing and working the way they want to work. And you would like to see them confident and going in the direction of their dreams. So how would you know, help them? Or if you were to talk to them, you wouldn't say things that would beat them down, because that's naturally what doesn't feel good. Like, I would want to build them up, remind them who they are, remind them of their love and support that they have, and that they can do what they want to do. So you got to do that for yourself. And I always say things that I need to hear, and eventually they become like embedded, because I talk about them, I say them outwardly, then I receive it, and I think about, absorb it into myself, and it really helps. And that's why I'm still doing what I'm doing, which is holistic health, wellness coaching, because it also helps me, right? It's a great job. It keeps me healthy, keeps me on track with what wellness is, and um, all the different ways that energetic imbalance can manifest sickness. So, so I'm gonna actually get to. I have to edit videos today. I recorded a lot of videos yesterday, and it was some things that I needed for my new website, for my products, for this YouTube channel, just to introduce you to the new channel, Green Body Wellness. So y'all that have been there since Absolute Tantra, thank you for sticking around. And we're actually going to go deeper into that, and um, really develop that as a lifestyle. And I'm just going to do that by showing you what I do on a regular basis. And also, you'll be with me just addressing some healing points that I feel are really important, like sexual wellness, sexual abuse. I think is really, we got to talk about that. And people like to pussyfoot around it and not really dive deep, but there's so much sexual abuse, and it's not just women, it's also men. And people don't realize that men are silently suffering from sexual abuse. Um, and it affects their relationships, it affects the women around them, the other men around them. So we have to start at home and heal the relationships that we have with ourselves, with our family. Like when I first got into this relationship, it was important for us to talk about our family relationship. So I want to know, how it is with your sister, your mom. I'll tell you, we're going to talk about my relationship with my family. And in those discussions, I felt like we got to know each other on a deeper level, but also get to know a full, kind of like a bigger picture of your world. I get to see it from how you relate to this person, how you relate to this person, how you relate to your work. And it's also put conviction on me to dive deeper into my personal relationships. And I'm really I'm really grateful about the relationship with my sister. We've come a long way since we were kids. And, we had a rough childhood. It was adventurous. And we got through a lot together. So that's what makes us close. And um, we just always been there for each other through the hardest things. So I really love my sister. And we talk every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, I really love her. And even in the relationship of loving her, I still have things that I want to heal with her. And those are just even perceptions. And really, I think it really is just to be in a place where we're fully nourishing each other, understand each other, um, and are able to motivate versus degrade. I don't want to not tear each other down when we fight, but when you have conflicts with somebody, that's the biggest thing I'm learning is the conflicts. There's many ways to work them out. There's easy ways to get through them or make them end without actually addressing the core issue. But I really have the will and the just want to learn from conflicts. Like it's not something that I shy away from. What I did before, avoiding things, right? Avoid confrontation, sugarcoat things so that they don't sound like anything that needs to be confronted. But now it's like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. And in changing that perspective, it doesn't feel like you're just growing and struggling. And that was something that I had to learn and really refine during quarantine because it was like, um, you're either going to build from this and grow from this, or you're going to get tired and worn down. And I'm like, I'm not going to let no quarantine wear me down. And here we are, glowing more than ever. But thank you for joining me on my first live stream. And leave me any questions, comments in the comment box. Like it, share it if you like it. Like, this is going to get easier. But subscribe if you haven't already. Leave with love. Remember, take time, space, and what was the last thing I said? Time, space. Oh, yeah, and do things separately. There we go. That's how you're going to survive quarantine.